Hey guys, it's Rufus. When defending Aviator, we will start with sight and expand from there. Starting with the study walls, you can either keep them closed or open them. When you open one study wall, you are able to shoot hard breach off of the other study wall, and if you open both study walls, you can shoot hard breach off of both study walls. In addition, you can use several angles into study, which will make it harder to push in. And don't forget that you can peek into study from games too. There's also this angle from games to the skull door. However, if you don't want to open the study walls, closing them is just fine. Next, I'll go over reinforcements and rotations. You'll always have vault wall and this wall reinforced. You can reinforce both of these walls, but you may not always have enough reinforcements for that. With this wall, we will be making a rotation with a reinforcement next to it. You can choose to close it, but the reason we're doing this is so that we can have any players at main stairs retreat back to site quickly. When we retreat back to site, we'll be able to reinforce this wall, and we can then defend site like normal. We will also have a rotation in this wall, some head holes over here, and a reinforcement next to our rotation. This will give us some flexibility and cover within sight, while also allowing us to use angles from games into Aviator. We will also be holding the main stairs. To do this, we will place a shield right here. However, we can also have somebody play on the main stairs. I've also seen teams place 2 people on main, one at this shield and another at the steps. And also don't forget to put some barbed wire at the bottom of main stairs. Now that I've explained your options for defending site, you'll have to make the decision on where to place your roamers. There are 2 common strats that I'll go over. One is a roam on the statuary side of the map, and the other is a roam below site. Most of the time, you will see teams roam on the statuary side. Usually, these 3 walls will be reinforced, but they can be opened in any variation. It really depends on what your goal is here, since opening the walls can make it really hard to enter master or closet. However, the goal of this roam is to delay the attacker's roam clear, assuming that they push through master and statuary. Problem with this roam is that it can be very difficult to maintain any control, so you will almost always have to fall out of this area quickly. Luckily for us, there are many escape routes. We can run through Boar, jump over Skylight, use the Astro Hatch, or even use the Astro Stairs. The only problem with each escape route is that they can easily be covered and blocked by the attackers. It's also very common for the attackers to send 1 or 2 people onto the first floor in order to cut off roamers. Because of this, your escape route will usually change by the round. You'll have to be careful and make sure you don't get caught off guard by an attacker. Once you do fall off the roam though, you can head back to site or try to play for a flank. The other roam you can do is a roam below site. This strat is becoming more popular since it is capable of countering both of the most common attacks on Aviator, the master side push and the full study side push. There's no best way to perform this roam, but I will show you some options and you can experiment from there. Usually, you will have a rotate in this wall and then one or both of these walls here. This will give the roamers a lot more flexibility to play in piano, library, and this hallway. You will also want 2 reinforcements on this wall. This will prevent any attackers from getting angles into piano. 2 reinforcements will also be required on these walls in order to prevent any attackers from getting angles into library. One operator you should also utilize is castle. I like placing 1 barricade here since this gives the roamers a lot more cover when rotating between piano and a library. And it also makes it a lot harder for the attackers to push the defenders. If attackers were to push through main, they would be killed by a cross from main and a library. If the attackers push through art and into main, we would still have the cross from main and the library. In addition, we would be able to peek under this barricade for foot taps. Attackers pushed from art and into piano, there would be a cross from art and a library. We could even use several angles from above in order to make it much harder for the attackers to push this area whatsoever. Our anchors in sight would be able to support our roam. Due to this, it is extremely difficult for the attackers to push main and art. A more viable push would be to push from the living room side. However, even if the attackers did push from that side, you would still be in a very strong position to counter the push. You might not even get pushed below site though. If the attackers push the master side, then you will easily be able to counter their push. You could utilize holes from below in order to deny the default plants, and you could nitro any attackers from below too. One thing I want to note is this. Because the strat requires 4 reinforcements, we will have to open both of the Aviator walls. This isn't a bad thing, but we will need to use the extra reinforcements downstairs. Now if you want to follow my Twitter, Discord server, or Patreon, a link will be in the description below, but that's all to say for this video, and if you learned something, give the video a like, and if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe. Toodles!